Joseph Stalin was born Iosif Vissarionovich. He joined the revolution when he joined a forbidden book club at school, which introduced him to writings by Vladimir Lenin and Karl Marx. He was exiled to Siberia when for coordinating labor strikes, which was his first of many arrests. This was when he adopted the name Stalin, which means steel in Russian. Stalin did good work in the revolution, calling meetings, publishing leaflets, and organizing strikes and demonstrations. In April 1917, Lenin denounced the provisional government, stating that they should remove land and factories from the industrialists. By that October, the Bolsheviks overthrew the provisional government and were now in control. In 1922, Stalin was appointed General Secretary of the Communist Party. This position gave him the ability to appoint all party members. This is the start of Stalin's corruption. He took advantage of this power and made appointments so that nearly all the members in the Central Command owed their position to him. Lenin, who was ill and suffering strokes, was heading towards semi-retirement. He criticized Stalin's political views, rude manners, and excessive power and ambition, and suggested that Stalin should be removed from his office. This became Lenin's testament. Stalin made an alliance with Lev Kamenev and Grigory Zinoviev against Trotsky. They prevented Lenin's testament to be revealed to the 12th Party Congress in April 1923. Stalin then began a dispute with Kamenev, Zinoviev, and Trotsky. They became isolated and were ejected from the party itself. Kamenev and Zinoviev later returned, but Trotsky was exiled from Russia. This is similar to the scenario in George Orwell's Animal Farm, where Napoleon kicked Snowball out of Animal Farm.
Lenin died in 1924, and Stalin set out to destroy the old party leadership and take total control. They were exiled to Europe or the Americas, including Lenin's initial successor, Leon Trotsky. Stalin then started his reign of terror. He had people arrested in the night and even killed people who were suspected to be counter-revolutionaries. Then, in the late 1920s and early 1930s, Stalin reversed the Bolshevik agrarian policy by seizing land that was given to the peasants and organizing collective farms. He believed that collectivism would increase food production, but the peasants didn't want to lose their land and work for the state. Millions were killed in forced labor or starved during the famine. Stalin also set in motion rapid industrialization, which at first was a huge success, but over time cost millions of lives and damaged the environment. By 1939, war was abroad and it was leaning over Russia. So Stalin signed a non-aggression pact with Nazi Germany, believing that Hitler would keep these terms, and ignoring his commanders that were reporting armies mobilizing on the Eastern Front. Hitler finally struck in June 1941, and Russia was completely unprepared, since Stalin put so much trust in the non-aggression pact. All of a sudden, Ukraine and Belarus had been lost to the Nazis, and its artillery surrounded Leningrad. Even though the purges of the 30s had left Russia almost completely helpless, they were still able to kick Germany out of Stalingrad in 1942. And soon, the Soviet army was liberating countries all over the Eastern Europe. Stalin had been demanding that the Allies open a second front to the war since the beginning, and they always declined. Stalin had been growing very suspicious of the West even before the war, but this made him even more suspicious. Because of his victory in Stalingrad, Stalin was in a very good position, and when he met with the British Prime Minister Churchill and US President Roosevelt in Iran to discuss post-war arrangements, he presented the idea again of the Second Front against Germany, which they finally decided to do in 1943. When they met again in Crimea, Stalin offered a free hand to reorganize their government and join the war effort against Japan after Nazi Germany was defeated. The Allies were suspicious of Stalin and didn't want anything to do with him in post-war Japan. It didn't matter, because before Stalin could mobilize, the 2 atomic bombs had ended the war.
After this, Stalin fell into paranoia of Western invasion. Throughout 3 years, starting in 1945, Stalin created buffer zones, which were established communist regimes in many Eastern European countries that created the buffer zones between Russia and Western Europe. The Western powers took it as Stalin trying to put Europe under communist control, and so they formed the North Atlantic Treaty Organization to counter the Soviets. In 1948, Stalin ordered an economic blockade on the city of Berlin, Germany, trying to take control of the city. Western powers eventually forced Stalin to back down by organizing a giant airlift to supply the city. Stalin suffered another foreign policy defeat when he encouraged North Korean Communist leader Kim Il-sung to invade South Korea, believing the United States wouldn't interfere. He had also ordered the Soviet ambassador to the United Nations to boycott the Security Council because it refused to accept the People's Republic of China into the United Nations. The resolution to support South Korea came to a vote in the Security Council, and the Soviet Union couldn't use its veto. Stalin's popularity from his successes during World War II was strong, but his health began to be a concern during the early 1950s.
An assassination plot was uncovered, and he ordered the head of secret police to investigate the new purge of the Communist Party. But before it could be finished, Stalin died on March 5th, 1953.
Stalin was eventually denounced by his successor, Nikita Khrushchev, in 1956. However, he found popularity amongst many of Russia's young people.
Joseph Stalin left a legacy of death and terror as he turned a weak Russia into a world superpower.
That has been our documentary on Stalin and his administration, but just to leave you with a little bit more of knowledge, here's some newscast audio that we uncovered from 1943 that shows that even during the war, people were aware of Stalin's cruelty. Thank you and enjoy.
Buenos días y bienvenidos a Crane Noticias. Yo soy Víctor.
Y yo soy Roland, y hoy yo y mi abuelo nos hemos juntado nuevamente para mi segmento favorito de este canal. Hoy nosotros los vamos a informar no sobre lo nuevo, pero lo viejo. ¿Qué piensas tú, abuelo?
Sí, bueno, pues hoy vamos a hablar de una persona en particular. Como ustedes ya saben, nosotros estamos involucrados en una guerra mundial, luchando por la paz y la justicia, contra lo corrupto. Uno de nuestros aliados más prominentes, Rusia, ha hecho mucho por la causa.
Su líder, Joseph Stalin, por sus victorias en Stalingrad, es visto como un héroe, pero esto es como lo vemos nosotros. ¿Pero qué piensan los rusos, su propia gente?
Sí, y entonces los bolcheviques se arrastran hasta la cima de la montaña de poder que es el gobierno de Rusia. Ahora el Partido Comunista, con Stalin como el secretario general, quien elige a los miembros del partido. Naturalmente, la transcurrida de la historia nos ha enseñado que con poder viene el deseo de más poder, y con ese deseo viene la corrupción y la tiranía. Pues eso fue lo que pasó. Stalin manipuló su posición y asignó miembros quienes sus posiciones se lo debían a él. Cuando Lenin se va a dar cuenta que él es peligroso para tener como miembro, ya era muy tarde. Cuando Lenin muere, él lucha hasta ser líder del partido y hasta ser el que controla todo, o sea, el poder de Rusia.
Esa es una tremenda historia, abuelo.
Muy bien dicho, Roland. Pero tengo una pregunta.
¿Sí, abuelo?
Si nosotros somos británicos, ¿por qué hablamos español?